heard it online and you think there's no rival? You want it for your collection, but have you heard it on vinyl? Hello and welcome to But Have You Heard It on Vinyl? It's sunny outside, I'm Simon, and over there is Danny. Hello Danny, how you doing?
Good morning. I'm as well as can be for somebody that sat in a hot room in the middle of a heat wave on a Sunday morning.
I know, it's lovely outside. Lovely but hot. It sort of reminds me of being in Australia again. Have you been up to much, or have you just been cowering?
I have, just this week has literally just been work, food, sleep. I don't know, I think I was just exhausted going back to work after having a week off. And it honestly, that's wiped me out. But it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, well, work-wise, I've got absolutely fuck all going on. To be honest, it's dead at the moment. So I've been spending most of my time doing my own little projects. I went and finished putting a roof on my pergola, which is my happiest thing I've done all week.
You were very proud of that.
I was. It took me ages. I had my dad sat there helping me in inverted commas.
Put it there. No, don't do that. No.
Oh, no. He just... my dad's not very practical when it comes to, like, DIY stuff. So trying to explain to him, like, can you just pass me the square? And then, like, I'll be getting anything. It's like having Groot try and bring me stuff. I'm like, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either. And then we were playing music. And, for some reason, when my dad gets stuck in thinking he knows something modern, he will just name it all the time. Like years ago, I could play anything. Slayer. Oh, is that The Prodigy? No, it's not The Prodigy. Do you know what I mean? So this one was, no matter what I was playing yesterday, going, oh, this is REM, isn't it? No, this is Social Distortion. Oh, this one's REM, isn't it? No, it's you know, it's the Sultans, it's something else. And then I think there was a cover came on, oh, this is an REM song. No, it really isn't.
You're like a teenager. Oh, God, your dad, you're so embarrassing.
Bless him. I love him to death. But yes, I was just like, no, just stop with REM. I'm not playing any REM. I'll send you to Dan. Anyway, no, it's...
So if a man I don't know turns up at my door, it's your dad.
Are you playing REM? Yes. Okay, that's it. No. Then he'll just get back in his car.
No, it's Slayer. I've heard about you.
That's The Prodigy. Anyway, but there you go. Yeah, that's all I've been doing, and it's currently absolutely baking outside. Both my animals look like they hate life at the moment.
Yeah, but they always sit. I've got two cats, and they always sit in the darkest, hottest place in the house. And you're like, seriously, go downstairs. It's cool. And they just look at you like, just fuck off, food man.
Food man. No, I think the cat waits for us to have showers now, and if we have like the towel mat on the floor, she'll just go straight on it. She's going, it's slightly damp and cool. Anyway, that's enough absolute bollocks. Okay, well, as per usual, we'll be talking about what we've been listening to, and I think we've got quite a full one this week. We've got the vinyl countdown, which is 1979, the year I was born.
Hey!
Yeah. And after what seems like months and months, well, it was months and months, Dan finally got his Alice in Chains box set, so we are going to do a feature, bit of a box unopening and just general look back at that album. And at the end, we got lots of new things that we've heard about to talk about, so it seems like a quite busy one. Anyway, do you want to start, or do you want me to start? I'm easy.
So I've heard. I'll go. Because like yourself, I've got a few things here to talk about. First one's very easy. As it was a birthday. I've already done that one.
Oh yeah.
Damn. The wife bought me a copy of Led Zeppelin 4. Now this is an upgrade copy. My copy I've had, Christ, 35, 40 years. It's battered to fuck, and it's one of those you can. It's like Rumours or Dark Side of the Moon or something like that. It's something you can just pick up any time, and at some point you go into. And this is the point that I've got an upgrade copy of Led Zeppelin's 4. I ain't going to go on about it. We all know what it is. It's absolutely classic. It's genius. I've had a quick spin of that. It still hits you just as much as it did when you were a kid. Brilliant album.
It's still Stairway to Heaven. I think it's one of those ones I've heard too much. I don't need to hear Stairway to Heaven. The rest of the album, I love it.
I don't get that. Stairway to Heaven never really... You know, like we've talked about it before with, you know, Enter Sandman or Teen Spirit or, you know, whatever. other things like that. That still does. I still love it every time I hear it. It's just something. It's not like, oh god, I skipped that one over familiarity. I still take the album as a whole. It's awesome.
On that album, it was all about rock and roll and When the Levee Breaks for me.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But it's different experiences. I think it's because I think the problem I had with Stairway to Heaven is I had to learn it once for a school recital, and I had to just honestly dissect it and just listen to it over and over and over again.
Yeah, and that's the trouble with learning a song, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that could be the small part of it. And the annoying bit is, because it was a school recital, I was never allowed to get to the rock bit. I had to just do the little quiet, picky bit at the beginning. And the moment I was like, right! And then I go, no, stop. Okay, next one.
That's it. Everybody give Simon a round of applause.
But anyway, cool.
I want to rock!
And I was just about to kick over the chair, and then they ushered me off stage.
So, yeah, Led Zeppelin 4, Stone Cold classic, you have to own it. Next up, finally got my... I say finally, I mean, it came on time. You know, you did pre-orders and you completely forgot you pre-ordered something. It turns up and you're like, ooh.
Oh, all the time.
You get excited all over again. Yeah. Monster Magnet, Dopes to Infinity.
Ah, sweet.
Reissue. First time it's been reissued since the original press in 95, 96, I want to say.
Jeez.
And that original pressing is stupid money. I've had it on CD for years, but... as soon as they announced they were going to reissue it, I was like, I've got to have that. But otherwise I've got to go and spend 200 quid on original pressing. And although I do like original pressings, you know as well as I, if something's going to get reissued and it's now and it's live and it's here and it's 25, 30 quid, you're just going to do it. Just grab it. Because you can always pick up an original press if ever you see one. So. Yeah, this is awesome. It's come out on double. I don't know if the original was a double album,
I wouldn't
to be
be able to
honest.
tell you.
No,
they look like a band who would want a gatefold because they've always got quite cool artwork.
Yeah. I guess they do. I think they do now, sort of in the 2000s. But at the time, I don't know. They're fairly, I say lengthy albums. They're probably 50, just over 50-ish minutes, 55 minutes maybe. And back then, they did just do one disc, didn't they? That's why a lot of the 90s pressings sound...
Yeah, it's funny that they've... Well, I don't know what it is about Monster Magnet. You don't really hear much about them, but they've just suddenly, their whole catalogue has just become out there. Yeah,
it's weird. They're coming dribs and drabs, and
they did the box set as well, didn't they?
They did, and that was the thing. They've done the box set, so I'm thinking, okay, give it 12 months, they'll start releasing these things individually, and they have, thankfully. I've got to be honest, because I'm Super Judge that's my Monster Magnet. It's one of my favourite albums of the 90s. I love that album. And then the only one I really tried besides that is this one, Dopes to Infinity, which, like I say, I've had the CD for a long time, so I love those two albums. Not really tried a lot of the others.
I do recommend
they
Power
kind of
Trip.
went, yeah, so you said that they went a lot more rocky post Super Judge, and I wasn't quite sure, so I've never really bothered, and I probably should, because now they're all coming out as well. It's that thing. I don't want to go and buy them all in case I don't like them, but I might try another one.
I think Power Tripping, from what I remember, was a lot more commercial. I think they dialed back the distortion a bit and slightly shorter songs, bit more bit more polish to it.
Yeah, because Super Judge is very fuzzed out, very trippy and sort of Hawkwindy. Dopes to Infinity is a step away from that, but then I feel everything they did after that was just kind of rock, just sort of heavy rock.
I never bothered. I really loved Power Tripping, but I never listened to anything past it for some reason.
How weird that we both saying the same thing about different albums with the same artist.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Maybe we should swap over. You go to Super Judge, I'll do Power Tripping. How's that?
Yeah, I think I only got Power Tripping because, the Kerrang used to go and have their little sampler CDs. And I think there was a song on there that I really, really loved. So I went, I'll buy it. I remember really enjoying it, but then I just kind of, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't carry on with it. Do you know what I mean?
Have you got it on vinyl?
No, I don't know if it's out on vinyl, Power Tripping. Have a look.
Oh, I don't know, actually.
I need to go back.
It's one of the ones that's been reissued.
Oh, okay. I do need to go back. I said Dopes for Infinity, I kind of know. I don't know anything previous to that one. So I used to really like him. I don't know why I never really tried much more with him. I know he got quite large, didn't he? Because he was taking too many drugs and drinking. But I think he's all sober and lovely and clean now.
Yeah, I think he's kind of got over himself. I think he had a very short... I think from what I've read, if memory serves, he was never that big of a drug guy, but he played on it because it was the image and it was all like, the the stoner thing to do, but I don't think he really was. I think he was kind of a bit of a, for want of a better expression, a bit of a faker to be part of. Say, hey, look at me, I'm a bit, I'm that as well. And I don't think he particularly was. But yeah, they say always big and clean and sober and that there, but I don't think he was particularly off the rails anyway. He was just playing a part.
Oh, fair enough.
But so I'm glad that's come. I've only played it once, to be honest. I've had so much on. But it's, like I say, I know it anyway. I've got the CD. It always sounds great to me. When you've got that sort of period in the 90s, all your grunge and stoner and, alt rock and all this sort of stuff, when you've sort of just got the CDs at like 50, 60 minutes long, you lose the impact of like an opening track side 2 or a final, or all that, because it's just a list. It's just a track list, isn't it? When you've got an album, a double album, that you're flipping sides and then you get the punch at the different intervals that you miss on the CD, it's been great for that. There's a couple of singles on it, and when they kick in, you're like, superb. So it's got, I don't know, it just suits that vinyl format more than a CD does. And I found this with Soundgarden, to be honest, when I put it down on the upside, because the CD, to be honest, it's a great album, but when you've got like 15, 16 songs and there's just no sort of peaks and troughs, and then you buy the vinyl and suddenly you've got the big hitters coming in on opening track like side 3 or something, and then closing track side 2, they're more emphasised in there.
It helps break it up a bit.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And this is an example of that, this Dopes to Infinity. So, yeah, really glad I got that.
Sweet. Wonderful.
Elsewhere, I made another visit to... Now, I was going to go to another record shop we talked about. Didn't go. Had a bit of a paddy because I was like, I'm not going there. It's far too far away. I'll get a nosebleed if I leave Burntwood.
It was also shitting with rain as well, wasn't it?
Oh, it was awful. I went through every... I only went to Leicester, to be fair. It was like a 50-minute drive, but Christ, I went through every condition going. Would you believe we had snow for about 10 minutes? I was like, what's this? The fuck is this? Driving to this little village just outside Leicester, suddenly pelted with snow. I was like, no. And then it just stopped, and bright sunshine, and then torrential rain again by the time I got there. But anywho, went back to Vinyl Shakedown.
Do I play the little jingle again?
If you like.
Spotlight shop, spotlight shop. We found a new place, spotlight shop.
There you go.
Awesome. So, let's not oversaturate them. On this occasion, I always pick up something when I go there. First of all, last time I went, I picked up Queensryche Operation Mindcrime original pressing.
Yeah.
I've been after that for a long time. The second album, Empire, which is readily available. Operation Mindcrime isn't. It hasn't been reissued. Empire, the album that followed that, has been, but I still wanted an original pressing. And would you believe they had an original pressing of this there, in the same bin that they had Operation Mindcrime in, so I was quite chuffed with that. I don't know whether he'd had it for a while and then he's swapping stock over, or whether it had recently come in, but... See, if I'd have seen them both together, I'd have bought them on the same day. But I picked that up. Again, I'd never heard this album. I was just always intrigued by it. It's got very good plus on here. Now, the sleeve is very good plus, but the records are much better than he suggests. They're very, very clean. And for an album that's 36 years old, just a really good pressing. It sounds a lot better than Operation Mindcrime. The production's a lot fuller.
Okay, probably a bigger budget.
And I've got to be honest, I think it's a better album than Operation Mindcrime, to be honest. Not that one's bad and one's great. They're both really great albums, but I think this one's just got the edge. They're a bit more confident in what they're doing this time around. I guess it's another concept album, and it just works. The peaks and troughs are better. It's paced out more. It's just a great album. I'm really glad I saw it.
I did try Operation Mindcrime. It's still not for me, but there you go.
No, it's just one of those things. As an Iron Maiden fan, there's no reason, I shouldn't be a Queensryche fan, because it's a very similar sort of road they travel. So that's why I went after Operation Mindcrime, and that's why I've now gone after Empire. I don't know if there's much more in the catalogue for me, to be fair. There's about another 5 or 6 albums, and I don't know whether there's a gateway for me, but... As far as I'm aware, I've got the two that are known, the two well-known ones. So we'll see. And talking about Iron Maiden, I also picked up a copy of the Book of Souls, which when I bought this, I bought the special CD box
Yeah.
book thing. I never bought the vinyl, so this was in there, and it's an original pressing. Okay, it's only 2015 album. It's not very old, but it's still, it's the original press. It's in very nice condition. It's a good price, so absolutely pick that one up.
What's that?
I can guarantee you, this is 3, but I can guarantee you, I haven't played it yet, but I can guarantee you, I bet this thing has only ever, if most, been played once, because people don't play. If you picked up a copy of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son or Number of the Beast or something, these things got played over and over and over. Latter Day Maiden, people are very much, yeah, it's all right, and put it away.
Yeah,
so I'm thinking, these are going to be in very good condition, so I can't imagine there's going to be any issues with this one.
I do have the CD. I will admit, I think I've only played it once on CD.
Exactly that.
Hasn't it got a really fucking long song to start it or something? Is it later on? There's one which is ridiculously long.
It's the first album they did, and they've done the same since on Senjutsu, where there's about 4 tracks that go past 10 minutes. One's about 13 minutes, and then you've got Empire of the Clouds, which I think is even longer than that. I think it's their longest ever song.
Yeah, I just remember one of them was a ridiculously long song. Isn't it Bruce Dickinson wrote one? Like 20 minutes, maybe a bit less or something stupid.
Yeah, that's it. That's Empire of the Clouds.
Yeah.
Now, what I would say with this one, and I'm getting more on board with this album since I've given it another go. But it's the shorter songs I have trouble with. The longer ones, fantastic. The title track's brilliant song. Tears of a Clown's a great song. But like Speed of Light I don't think it was a physical single, but it was a single on, like a download thing nonetheless. And it's a bit in the, but the longer ones, they're more interesting. And they followed that with, when they did Senjutsu, the longer songs are more interesting, and they've got very sort of proggy as they've got older, really long passages, but they've just got such a way of making things, with keeping you on board and keeping things interesting, So sometimes the shorter songs, which they're more famous for, which they've done to death in the 80s and 90s, sometimes those songs are a bit, you've done this, a bit throwaway, so... But a lot of people want those. They don't want to, sit and listen to a 90-minute album and that. They just want a single with a hook. And they don't want to listen to something that's 12, 13 minutes long, whereas I do.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a bit more meat on the bone, So that's a good one. I'm glad to pick that up.
This gives the tracks chance to sort of evolve.
Yes, exactly that. And they're not overly complicated. When they used to do long songs in the 80s, they got a lot in... that's not a criticism, they're brilliant songs. Now they just very much take the time, they're well paced, and it's kind of, like the longer Pink Floyd tracks from the 70s, they were always compelling, but there wasn't a lot going on. They were the masters of just keeping it cool and simple and precise, but keeping you on board without all these weird time changes and going all over the place. And made her a bit like a heavier version of that now with the Bruce's storytelling. So
okay.
I just find it really, just really compelling, really on board.
Sweet.
So the only other thing I've really given, if that's not enough, I've had a bit of a Dylan day the other day, and I pulled out New Morning, which is from 71, I want to say, 70, 71, and it's one of his, after all his early famous albums, he dropped about there was a couple that were like record company cash-in things. There's one called Dylan, there's one called Self-Portrait, where they were just cobbled together albums, which after Blonde on Blonde and John Wesley Harding and all these classics, it was just like, what the fuck's this shit? And then in the midst of all that, he released a new album called New Morning, which horrible album sleep, but it's a fabulous album. I really like this album, and I'll forget about it because it's just in the mix of all the throwaway shit that was put out, but it's very much a new album. There's a George Harrison co-write on there. There's a song on there called Three Angels, which is it's one of my favourite songs of his from that period. That's a nice easy album. It kind of follows... It's like a more serious version of Nashville Skyline, before he then got more rock again with Blood on the Tracks and stuff, so it's still kind of carefree. There's a bit of jazzy bits on there. That's really enjoyable. Really like that album, so I've had that on.
Cool.
I had it on about 4 times in a row, to be fair. I was working and I just kept putting the needle back on it, but that's a good album. I've enjoyed it. So this last week I've just been through the scope of all my favourite sort of bands and things, and had a jolly good time doing it.
Wonderful. That's awesome.
What say you? What have you been up to? What are you doing? What are you listening to?
Well, to be honest, I've struggled to stop playing just one album in the last 2 weeks.
It's easy to do.
Yeah, well, basically, I've been waiting for it long enough, and I've spoken about it long enough. after 15 years, finally the new Social Distortion album, Born to Kill, came out.
Yep.
And my vinyl didn't turn up until the Saturday, so I was streaming it on the Friday. And I think I've probably broken my algorithm on whatever thing I use, because it's just there's nothing else on. They're like your heavy rotation. It's just got one thing on there. And after 15 years, I tried to be really critical of it when I first got it, and there was a couple of things I was like, oh, I'm not so sure about that. And I love all of it. There's literally, it's just ticked every little box. It's made me smile. I've just had it on. There's not really much I don't like, but I love the artwork. I don't know if you see it. It's like a...
It is cool artwork, yeah. I've seen it quite a lot.
Leopard or cheetah, I don't know which one it is. But it's really good. And I've seen quite a lot of interviews with him talking about the album. Like, with just saying what you're saying about, like, back in the days, they used to try and squeeze it all onto one disc. He said he did originally have it pressed as one disc, and he played it, and he was talking to, like, a vinyl... production company, and they were trying to point out where the little discrepancies and maybe a little bit of loss in sound quality might be, and convinced him to put it onto two. And he goes, like, it sounds so much better on two vinyls, a bit more room to breathe, and like he says, sonically, because he's a vinyl guy, he really wanted to make sure he was giving everyone the best product. So it's a double vinyl,
of course,
great gatefold. The inside, you got like the guitar he used, like his most famous guitars. Really, really nice layout. There is quite a few different variations. There's ones which are pitch disc, which are different coloured leopard skin ones. There's pink and yellow for different ones. I think I got mine through Beggars Records, Banquet Records, sorry, in Kingston.
Beggars Banquet.
And they've got their own exclusive pink and black version as well. So I was really happy. Like, it's quite expensive for their own one, so getting it through a local record store was nice because it was cheaper, and I managed to go and like just support them. So from that side of things, it was really, really good. It's a 3-side, and the 4th side is etched, but you haven't got to play the 4th side, so you can't get angry.
Okay.
Anyway, but from the music side of things, it really does. I think what he said is after his cancer scare, he wanted to put out an album which just went, right, this is where we are now, and kind of like a pleaser for everybody. It ticks all the little boxes. It's only 45 minutes long. The moment it finishes, you want to put it back on again. And he says that he's recorded about 40 songs. So he said, you're not going to be waiting 15 years for the next one. He's got a bit of a renewed, shit, I could die any day. I need to put out as much music and do as much touring. So he's kind of gotten renewed vigour, and like listening to the interviews and stuff, he's just such a humble person now. I think you can't not like him. You kind of... I don't know, it just made the whole experience of getting the album even more when you kind of realise that he's not a dick and all this side of things. So the music side of things, it sounds awesome. It's done by Dave Sardy, who's I think more famous for doing Oasis albums. But I like the fact that it is a punk album to an extent, but unlike most punk albums, the drums are more in the background. They're not pushed really in your face. It's really centres around the guitars and the vocals, which is kind of refreshing, because I find sometimes, like modern punk albums, it's just all drums and a bit of vocals, and the guitars are sort of a secondary thing, but his guitar playing so iconic within his sound. Like, it's nice that they've mixed it that way. But the songs themselves come straight out the gate with Born to Kill, which was the first single. It's just classic punk rock, really. It's quite... They've got a mixture. They've got their little Stonesy type bits in there. They've got a bit of just straight rock and roll and bluesy. They've got country and western type stuff in there a little bit. But it sort of ticks it. It's a kick, build a kill, just basically, if you... just tells you exactly what the album's like. And then just all the way through it, you've got a few like more sort of from the heart songs, the way things are. Tonight, I think there's quite a few songs that they've been playing for a few years. There is just like a straight country song on there, which they've written, called Crazy Dreamer. Okay. That was one of the ones I wasn't so sure of. I kind of went... It's a little bit cheesy.
Isn't it weird how country just goes for punk? That's a lot of punk bands do have a bit of a country thing, but it works.
Well, yeah, this one's got a female singer on it as well. And originally, I was like, oh, the lyrics are a little bit clunky. The Crazy Dreamer, what's with your crazy dreams? It's just a little bit clunky. But within the context of the album, I actually really like the song. I've got no problems with it. It sounds great. They even do a cover of Wicked Game by Chris Isaacs, which even he said in an interview, it's the most overcovered song ever. And I wasn't so keen on it. But the way that he's done it and his voice, it really suits it. And it ends up actually, I really like the cover. I've got no issues with it at all. So from start to finish, it's just one good song after another. I don't know what the other thought is. Maybe he's just picked the best, whether it is 10 songs and we're just really lucky and the rest are going to be not of the same quality, or we could have a long time, like a long history of more albums coming out of him. So from my point of view, I wanted to not just go, oh, it's just the best album ever, but I've lived with it now for about 2 or 3 weeks and I still can't stop playing it. I think it's really good. It's for me, it's ticked every little box, and I like the lyrics, I like the production, I like the song. So I'm really, really looking forward. I'm going to see them in 2 weeks. So I'm just really happy with it. There's nothing I can say about it.
I don't know who his press people are, but I've got to be honest. I know the name Social Distortion. I know from talking to yourself, but the amount of stuff I've seen on like Instagram, just general music sites, videos, they've really been pushed to the front. They're kind in our circles, at least. They're kind of everywhere at the minute. So whoever's doing that side for him is really doing a great job. He's done a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
There's just the campaign for this album's just been really. It's been really something else. You can't miss it without going, oh, I know that name, or oh, that's who that is, because I know his name, but I've never seen him. But I've been a few interviews with him just lately, and he's just been really pushed to the foreground. So fair play whoever's doing that publishing and promo side for him.
Yeah, they're a weird one, because I think that as you said, they're known, but I think the last couple of albums and stuff, they've just kind of just got into the same sort of circle of their tours and then their album, and they're not really doing much press. But he said definitely with this one, I don't know if he's just gone, I need to make more of an effort. Like maybe he's got complacent in the last few years and now he's gone, no, I almost died, got this album out, I want to just push my music out there, meet my fans, because they've done loads of in-stores, they've done loads of other stuff, which I don't think they normally do. So yeah, you are right. For some reason this album, they've put an effort in and it's well deserved.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that concert. I think I might try and squeeze the trip to the Bowie Museum beforehand.
Weirdly, tenuous link. My gaffer actually went there the other week, and when I come to work the other day, the programme for the thing is sat squarely on my desk for me to have a nose through. I haven't looked at it yet, but he loved it. He said it was brilliant.
Well, we did it in Melbourne when it first ever came out. I think it was the first one. So we've done it once, but we had a child strapped to the front of us, so we couldn't really look at it completely as much as we wanted to. So this time we're going to go there and spend our time.
Oh, kids ruin everything, man.
All right, the second thing that I got hold of, which I've been waiting for, I think we only talked about it the other week, was the Sultan's reissue of Ghost Ship.
God, good week for you, huh?
I know. Well, it turned up on Monday, but it was damaged. It honestly looked like the bloke showed me in the shop, it looked like a banana. Like the whole vinyl was warped to fuck. But about 3 days later, he got me another one, and it's perfect. I will start with the one negative thing about this album, is just considering I've got the other Sultan's album, it's missing the insert thing with like the lyrics, and normally Speedo does like a little bit of waffle about the albums, and on the CD, it's got all these like lyrics and bits about what's going on and his normal rubbish that he writes inside it with photos. And it's not got it in this album, but the other one, it's got the full lyric sheet and everything like normal. So I don't know why this reissue he's decided to not bother with it, because I kind of like all that sort of stuff with it. So it is just the vinyl and a slipcase. Album-wise, it is basically the full album, which originally came out, plus the EP songs, and also 5 songs that he found on a tape, which were demos done around the same time.
What's this? Oh yeah, they can have that as well. That's fine.
Well, some of them are songs which end up on Group Sounds, Rocket from the Crypt album. I think what he said about this album was Atom had just left Rocket from the Crypt, and they were in between with Rocket trying to find a new drummer. So him, the guitarist from Rocket from the Crypt, and another drummer who they knew, end up just banging this out over a couple of weekends. Don't think it really took them too long. They said it's the 3-take rule. Quickly play it. Once they've got the third take, if it's the best of the 3, then that's what they keep. Speedo's on bass, and the guitarist from Rocket from Crypt, I can't remember his name, is on guitars. And I think out of the Speedo collection, this is probably up there with one of my favourite things that he's done.
Yeah.
It's just raw punk rock. Really short songs, really, really catchy. Most of the songs are about a minute and a half long. The whole thing, even with all the bonus tracks, is about 30 minutes. But it's just really, really good. I forgot how good this one is. It's really different to the second album, where I think by then the guitarist had gone and Speedo had gone onto guitar. I think they had another bassist. Then they changed round who was on it. I think his brother plays on it by that point. And they're not quite the same band. But this one album, I really, really recommend. I think it's now back on streaming. So if you want to check it out on Spotify, you can now. But
it's funny how that album that you've got there is just him and the guitarist from Rocket for the Crypt with the random drummer.
Yeah.
And then when they made the second Sultans album, it's really just Speedo with some other people. So there was no need for him to call the second album as Sultans.
No, it's true. I think his brother's the bassist on the second album. He just, got a family member in. But I don't know. I just absolutely love it. It starts off with just a Fool That's Down, Hold It Down. The first side just hammers past, and there's not a bad song on this one at all. I just love it. So I really recommend checking out the Sultans. Like, if you want the more, I think, ironically enough, like what I was saying about they've got a couple of songs which end up on Group Sounds. Group Sounds, I find, is the more punky album by Rocket from the Crypt in general, less rock and roll, a bit more straight ahead punk. I think it's very influenced by this one. I think they've obviously done this one and kind of gone, oh, that really works, and taken it to Group Sounds. And maybe that's why the second Sultans one is a little bit different, because he decided to copy that format for his normal band. But it's really good. I'm really glad that he's doing these reissues. As I said, a bit disappointed that I haven't got the lyric sheet and stuff, but good album. Love it. Been remastered. I did see on his Instagram the other day, I was told you that they found some old tapes that he was baking with the an original version of Scream Dracula Scream.
That's right,
yeah, he put it up the other day, that he's got it out and he was playing it over his video, so go and check it out on his little John Reese Instagram.
I will have a look at that.
Yeah, it looks quite good. He says that it's a lot faster version of what was on Scream Dracula Scream, and so I don't know if he's going to remix that and release it as like an alternative version, but that was really cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, so I was happy about that one. The last thing that I've been listening to, which we talked about as well, and then I wasn't sure if I was going to bother with, and in the end I just sort of decided to go for it anyway, which was the Sepultura EP, The Cloud of the Unknowing. It is a weird EP. I've got used to it now with the 4 songs. It's not the final thing that people would want, I don't think. But you are right. It's an unusual one. Like, it starts off with All Souls Rising.
Is this it now, or is there an album coming?
No, I've been told this is it. This is all they're doing. Just an EP.
So they're going out on a whimper sort of thing. It's weird.
A little bit
weird.
They kind of, it sounds like they just wanted to do something that they don't normally do. I think it's very experimental in some ways. Because you've got All Souls Rising, which is just a hammering song. It's quite short. All the double kick, riffs, solos, hammers through like you would want as a starting track by them. Then it goes on to Beyond a Dream, which is kind of like a ballad almost, quite poppy ballad with straight singing. Sacred Books is the third track, and this was the weirder one because it's got a strange jazz piano solo partway through it, and it doesn't feel like a complete song. It starts off with a verse and chorus, and then it just sort of goes into this weird jazzy piano bit, and then the song kind of finishes. There's not much to that one, and then it goes to the last song, The Place, that you absolutely hate, which I've come round to. Yep. But it's still not amazing. But I've enjoyed it. I find it a very different thing for them, but it is a strange thing to put out last. It comes with a CD as well. If you buy it, it comes with the CD as well.
Because Megadeth, they made a big fuss about this is our last album, and they just went out with a very Megadeth album. It's just great. It's them doing what they do. The lyrics lean towards we're off sort of thing, and then they did the Metallica cover as well. So it was a good way to say goodbye. It wasn't the strongest album, but it was a good solid album, and that was it. So you would expect Sepultura to right with fucking off with a bang, because they're a noisy, heavy, shouty band. So then, of those songs, I've heard 2. Really, really disliked one of them. The other one's kind of meh. So of the half songs I've heard on there, I'm just like, why didn't you just go out doing what you do well?
I have a feeling, from what I have read with interviews, I think this is a little bit of an afterthought. I think they were really trying to do their final release to be a live album from all the gigs. They were going to go and they're recording every gig they're doing on this final tour, and they were going to do this ultimate set list live album to go, well, this was us, goodbye. You know, that's what I originally heard, and then out of nowhere they suddenly announced like the EP. So I don't know if they're going to put some of these songs now on the live album, but as far as I knew, the live album was always meant to be their final goodbye. But for some reason they've now done this. I don't know. It's not bad. It's just different.
That's the thing. It's not bad. But it's like you say. It's just. I don't know.
But there you go. That's what I've been listening to. But yeah, I've been struggling to squeeze these back in between Social Distortion. But there you go. All right. Well, let's head to the vinyl countdown.
That was a busy week.
It was a very busy week. Right, 1979.
Stop! Not Sue!
Oh, it's the vinyl countdown. And there you go. And this week's vinyl countdown, as I just said, is 1979, the birth of Simon.
The Lord graced us with a child, and his name was Simon.
I was meant to be born on Christmas Day, but I came early because I didn't want 2 sets of presents. I get reminded a lot of times. You were meant to be this day. You were meant to be at this time. You're not officially that old until 9:30.
It's better that than you were a mistake.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, 1979. Obviously, I wouldn't have any idea what came out. I know that the week that I was born, number 1 in the charts was Another Brick in the Wall.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
I forget what was number 1 when I was born, but it's something really shit. I've looked it up before. Something really pathetic. You know, you look at the 70s, all this great stuff, and then mine's one of the really stupid shit songs that you're like, oh, really? I'll have to look it up. I can't remember what it was now. I'll look it up.
Yeah, so mine was The Wall. But 1979, my choice is The Specials. The Specials.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with The Wall then.
No. Sadly not. I went for The Specials. I remember a lot when I was younger, the whole ska scene and the two-tone sort of thing. I remember Madness. I think one of the first sort of singles I remember at home, I think I've still got it somewhere, is Our House by Madness.
Yeah.
And I remember Madness being more the comical side of things, and I loved it. And I think some of my cousins, I remember my Uncle Peter and stuff used to have a Madness best of I used to listen to a lot. And I just remember that side of things, but the Specials were more the political side. I think Madness were very good at being the quirky and side of things. I remember them on Young Ones and all that sort of stuff. But the Specials I kind of got into later, but I think first song I heard by them was Ghost Town.
Same here.
It's one of the most amazing songs. I love it, absolutely. I've got the 7-inch of it somewhere. It's just 12-inch though. It's just a brilliant song. So I managed to go and see them when they did their reunion, but without obviously Jerry Dahmer. But this album,
same here.
Their first one, I just love. I think it's a very different album. I said the two-tone sort of stuff, if you know Madness, these guys are kind of just the other side. I think listening to their songs the other day, I realised some of them probably aren't the most politically correct anymore, I think, but they're still absolutely great songs. Message to You, Rudy. They've got a real mixture of doing sort of traditional reggae and stuff covers, and then they have a load of their originals as well. And they really were very mixed race band, and I think they just did it really sort of well. So it's like I'm trying to think what the word is. Like Terry Hall's just such an odd front man, I used to find.
Yeah, he was he looked uncomfortable, but I think he was very comfortable in his awkwardness.
Yeah, they're quite a silly band as well, I find, but in a very different way to Madness.
Yeah, Madness were more like a bit gimpy, weren't they? A bit more slapstick.
Yeah. I think with some of their lyrics...
And Madness very much started one way and very, very quickly leaned towards pop.
Oh, yeah.
Pop band. Not that that's a criticism. No, you know, they were great 80s pop band, but they very quickly moved away from... their shared traits with the Specials and the two-tone scene very quickly moved away.
Yeah, and there's a real mixture within the influences in the band. 'Cause it was very ska-based, but then you obviously had the lead guitarist who was very into his rockabillys. He had lots of sort of more rock and roll riffs and things going on. They said they do plenty of like covers. You got Monkey Man, which is obviously well known by Prince Buster and people like that. What's the other ones have we got on here? Too Much Too Young, I think that's a cover as well. And it's also got one of my favourite songs on the whole album, You're Wondering Now, which I can't remember who I can't remember who did it, but that's one of the songs. When I have a funeral, I won't know about it, but I wouldn't mind having that one played at the end. It's always been one of my favourite songs by them.
No, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to insist on one of the songs off the new Sepultura EP.
Okay. I'll have the jazzy one. See you later, alligator. But yeah, no, the whole album's just really good. I think it's the most straight up sort of ska one, because I think when they did the next album, they changed.
Bit weird.
It was a bit weird and had a little bit of Muzak thrown in and other stuff. But this one, like, you can tell that they've got a bit of attitude on this one. I think they were in Coventry. They could see all the government stuff going on, and life wasn't quite as pretty as it was meant to be. And I think they really showed it from a youth point of view, like the struggles, and the fact that they were a mixed race band was very, very in your face, I think, at that time as well. And it was good. Like they were very short lived, but I think they did a lot for a lot of different causes at the same time, by just that whole scene, the whole two-tone scene.
Yeah, and like you say, it's very short lived. And when you talk about the punk side of things, the punk was very much to the establishment, fuck off, fuck you. What the Specials and bands like that were doing was saying, yeah, we agree with those people, but we're going to tell you why. And like you say, it was social commentary, and they were just talking about the reality of their surroundings rather than just the fingers up sort of kind of thing. So they were interested in that way, and they did it and made you dance at the same time. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Like the Ghost Town is just about all the clubs closing down for music venues and stuff. Like, they're not necessarily trying to be too politically in your face. He said they're more from the streets. This is what's happening in our little scene. So, no,
have a look around.
Yeah, exactly. The version I've got, I was trying to look up, like, because it's got a different cover to the regular one, which is on the other ones. Like, I think normally you got they're all looking to the side. I was looking this one up. I think it was a 2009 reissue, but I think it's a European or American press. It's really weird because it's got someone's put another barcode on the top of it, and if you scan it on Discogs, it doesn't come up that it exists. So I don't know if that's just a record label thing or what. There's another barcode underneath, but I can't see it. Anyway, I've really enjoyed putting it on. It's one of my favourite bands from that sort of era, and it's awesome. So yeah, that's what I've been playing, basically.
Good choice.
Yeah.
I went back so I'm 4 years old at this point, and this is now when I'm starting to become a bit more aware of what's around me, and it's another Electric Light Orchestra album. I did a New World record for 77, I think. This is 79, and it's Discovery. And basically, these are the records that we had in our house. So these are images and things and stuff I played with as a kid. You know, when you're a kid, you've got your hands in everything, you're picking things up, you're hearing things, and I just very distinctly remember this from the collection. I'm just being utterly fascinated by the cover. And I had to do ELO again because, like, it's autobiographical, obviously, and A New World record, as I said at the time, wasn't a great album, but it was a step. It was a big step up. And Discovery is a great album. They've kind of got to where they needed to go from that point. And it is quite possibly, of all the ELO albums I've got, which is maybe 5 or 6, this is my favourite. This is a fantastic. I mean, it's got the ones you'd know, Shine a Little Love, the album opens with that. It's absolute fucking classic. Last Train to London, which has been sampled to death. Don't Bring Me Down, which is a fucking heavy stomping sort of almost Bonham-like beat on there. The Diary of Horace Wimp. It's just an absolutely fabulous album. And weirdly, last night on Sky, I was just sat there watching the telly, and I just saw on Sky Arts Electric Light Orchestra Discovery live. Oh, great, I'll put that on. and it's just a load of videos with the they did a video for every song on this album with the theme of the artwork. So that was a really interesting thing to watch as well, because they're miming along to the songs, but it's got all the it looks like some kind of temple or something. It's like an Arabian theme on the sleeve where there's loads of treasure and there's somebody trying to steal the ELO orb, and the videos are all themed around that, and that was really cool to watch, to be honest. I'd never even heard of that. I didn't even know they did that, so that tied in quite nicely with me picking this album to start with.
Yeah, I only really know a best of.
And again, one of my favourite things with these is the labels. They're on Jet Records, and I just love that Jet Records logo. I loved ELO's logo anyway. I was utterly obsessed with that. I drew it on everything when I was a kid. Oh, really, really. I remember doing when I went to Cubs, and you had to design yourself a badge to get some kind of art badge or something, and mine was the ELO jukebox. I wish I'd have kept it. It was because in my mind it was absolutely awesome. It was probably really, really shit. And it was just like this big round badge with the ELO logo on. Obviously, no other kid would have had a clue what it was, because they're all doing really cool shit, football clubs and that. And I'm like, ELO, 70s rock. But no, love that album. And as my last pick of the decade, it's a bloody good one.
Yeah, into the 80s next. Interesting. I haven't even had a little flick through to see what the next one is. So.
No, I haven't really thought about it yet, but I think mine's going to be very heavily dominated by a Maiden. Spoiler alert, probably. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. I'll have to have a little look through. Well, there you go then. That was our plays for this week, and on to the feature.
We got a feature, musical feature. Here comes our feature coming up now.
Welcome back, dear listener. So, our feature this week, it's been a long time coming because, long story short, Alice in Chains' infamous Dog album, otherwise known as Tripod, otherwise self-titled, was 30 years old last year. They decided to reissue it, which is great for us vinyl fans because the original vinyl pressing goes for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So a great wait for be able to pick that up in January. It's come out in 2026 and not 2025, so it's kind of just gone over the 30-year thing. They announced a box set to go with it, and because it's an important album to me, it's Alice in Chains, it looked cool. I thought, I'll order the box, that'll be fantastic. If you're going to wait for these things, do it in style, order the box. It was expensive, but sod it, I'll go for it. The album came out in January, the box turned up last week in May. So I've been waiting a long, long time, not always patiently, because I'm not a patient person when it comes to stuff like this. So we'll talk about the box at the end, because I was very, very pleasantly surprised when it turned up. But if we could just talk about the album to start with, because, as I say, it came out in 1995. Of their original run, before they reformed in 2008, this was the final piece. So essentially you had 13 years of silence before they came back. Every metal fan should know this. The look of it. It's the black and white sleeve with the dog with 3 legs and the green eyes. There's a couple of hit singles off it. Grind, Heaven Beside You. I think again was a single, but I don't think it, maybe not a hit. But this album very much signifies, for me at least, jump in, Simon, if you disagree. 1995 is kind of like we had a couple of 3 years. In fact, I'd argue just a couple of absolutely classic glory era grunge years. This is very much the end of the grunge dream, the grunge life, and anything after this now is kind of like we drifted into nu metal and alternative rock and electro rock, garbage and the like. But this is kind of like the end, and it very much, even though it sold well in America, it sold big. They didn't tour it because Lane was ill. They did an unplugged after it, but it was just that one show sort of thing. So it kind of it didn't have the impact, it didn't have the staying power that like Dirt or Facelift or even Jar of Flies had. As a fan, or as a non-rock fan, you'd know the sleeve, but you didn't know the album. It just kind of disappeared quite quickly. But it's very much a cult favourite amongst Alice in Chains fans. So it's great. All these years we've been waiting for a reissue, and now we finally got it. It's great to be able to talk this album again as a contemporary sort of where we are now with the Reformation and everything versus how they ended quite, I wouldn't say messily. I don't think they ended really messily. I think they kind of just drifted towards nothingness in the 90s. I don't think, Lane's well publicised to have his issues with drugs, and which eventually killed him. But I think they all had their issues, and I think they all just sort of drifted away and just did bits and bobs, and they never sort of got back together. I don't think it was a big argument that fell apart. It just ran its course, sort of thing. A little bit like Soundgarden, maybe. Just kind of drifted away because the whole scene had died, and this is very much there, down on the upside. Great album, but forgotten amongst all the other great ones. So let's have a bit of a talk about the album before we go through the box. So what are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
No, you do agree. I do agree. I think that whole initial grunge thing was coming to an end. Obviously, Kurt had died. I said a lot of them still had a lot of. I think Pearl Jam had come out of it not too badly. I don't think any of them had really gone too heavily into addiction. I think what's his name, Mike, was an alcoholic. That's about it, really, the guitarist. But I think we were meant. Their band was meant to support Metallica when I saw them at Milton Keynes on the I think it was like '93, something like that. And then they pulled out, and Almighty stepped in because I think he was just too ill to do the gig. They didn't say why. They just said they weren't playing now, which obviously I think it was just a case of he just wasn't well enough to do it, really. So you could see that. I said like Soundgarden by that point. I think Chris Cornell had quite a good heroin habit going on as well, and it was that end of that little period, really. As you said, it then sort of went into the summer of like indie music and
Britpop, all that shit.
Yeah, Britpop. Not quite into new metal yet, but it was going that sort of way. Like things were changing. It got a lot shitter. But
yeah, it did. The latter half of the 90s is just a dead ground.
Yeah, as you said, I don't think there wasn't a bust up, really. I think they all just seemed quite exhausted. I don't think they knew what was going on. So I think originally wasn't some of these songs just Jerry and the drummer just sort of plodding along, getting some ideas down, not knowing if anything was ever going to come of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And whereas Lane very distinctly the voice of Alice in Chains up to this point, him and Jerry always had the great sort of harmonic vocals on the go. On this album, it's way more in favour of Jerry. I just think it leans. It's so much more in tune with what they do now with William.
Yeah.
That's why their sort of William albums sound kind of 90s-ish, but the albums Facelift and Dirt and Jar of Flies sound like a different band to this and what they went on to do with William in the 2000s.
Yeah, and also I think everyone's frame of mind, like, it is such a dark album. I find it uncomfortable to listen to.
Yes, exactly. Some of it is very much that way. I get that.
Because like the first Alice in Chains one was quite still a little tiny glammy bit, a little bit Pearl Jammy in a way, but not quite. The second one, I think they really locked on to what was their own sound. But they had the bigger choruses, they had the real chunky like guitars, and it was their own sort of thing. I think it worked really well. This one I find it hard going. I like it. It's not my favourite album by them. I think Dirt from this area is probably the one that I would go to.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some absolutely amazing stuff on it, but you can hear the struggles. Just in general, the sound of it's darker, the lyrics are darker, even the sort of riffs. They're not going for the most obvious things, but there's some really pretty songs on it.
Yeah, weirdly. And like, the last track, Over Now, is almost a bit like curtain call, jazzy sort of thing, and hey, thanks for coming, and it's weird. And very obviously called Over Now. Yeah, it's brilliant. I just remember when I first I didn't actually hear this album till after I think it was after Lane died. I think after Lane died I thought, I must go back and listen to some Alice in Chains because I've not listened to him for a while, and I went and found this album again. And initially I couldn't get past the sort of first 5 or 6 tracks.
Yeah.
So I found the sort of last 4 or 5 kind of dragged a bit, and then I had a job about 15 years ago which required a lot of driving, and so I'd spend a lot of time digging out old albums and re-listening to them. And what I would do, and this is one of the albums I specifically did with, I would just put the last 5 or 6 tracks on my iPod and just listen to those over and over, and then go back to the album and play it in full, see if it clicked in.
Okay.
And it absolutely did, and to the point where I actually think the last 5 or 6 tracks are probably my favourite tracks on there, because you take those in isolation, it's a very different album, very different band. You've taken the singles away, you've taken the pretty songs away, and you've just got this dark mini album that ends on a positive. It's weird. You should try that. It's really cool. I do that. I used to do it with a few albums where I found they kind of tapered away.
Yeah.
I just pick the last year, take the singles out or whatever, so you get used to the other songs as much as that. So that's what I did with this album. So it's come out again, and I could just put it on. Okay, let's listen to it now. Let's put the vinyl on and just listen to it in one go. And it's glorious. I think it's a fascinating album. And like you say, it's not a dirt's the one for me. It's that's one of my all times. But it's very, very interesting and very, very strong.
Yeah,
and it's very moody. Even though Dirt is essentially the heroin album.
Yeah.
And this is just it's almost Dirt feels very much celebrating. Lord, I do this. This album is very much. It's a bit grubby. It makes you feel. It's about it's sickness. It's the dark side of addiction, and nobody else is doing that. People sing about drugs and talk about drugs, but they wouldn't sing about the crippling side effects and what's wrong with them and the close to death and all that sort of stuff. But Alice in Chains did, and had no issue with doing that and making it a known thing. This is the state I'm in. This is the state I'm in.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, no, I'm just looking at this thing. Definitely, the side 1 and 2 are the ones that I put it on the other day and went, oh, this is better than I remember. I'm really, really enjoying it. It was side 3 and 4 was the one which I struggled a little bit with. So no, I'll definitely do that. Heaven Beside You, I just love that song. That's very much reminds me of his solo sort of stuff, I think, because it's
yes, exactly, because it's very heavily Jerry vocal.
But no, and it's weird. It's got some weird ideas going on. As I said, Alice in Chains I was very, very late to. I always knew them, and they seemed to be everywhere. I remember they did the Crash of the Titans tour, and they were on that one, so there was Slayer.
That's right,
Suicidal Tendencies. I want to say Anthrax, I could be wrong. But they did that one. I remember they were meant to support Metallica, and I was like, I don't really know them too well. And then I just kind of forgot about it. I didn't get into them until probably late 90s, probably. By then, this one had been and gone. I remember this being in the record stores.
Yeah.
Because it was, I think you could either get it in like a purple plastic case, or there's the yellow one like you've got now. There was different colours.
That's right, yeah. But my CD's the purple case.
Yeah, I remember it being a big thing to come out, but obviously, as you said, they couldn't tour it. Remember any videos from it? There might have been. Maybe there wasn't. I can't remember. But I think Lane's voice, you could really hear how much it's deteriorated. Probably why Jerry did such a big job of it.
Quite fragile, and it's weird, like you say, with Heaven Beside You, because. Yeah, great song, great single, but it's Lane doing the harmony vocal rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
And it just hits different. It works really well. But when Lane does get going on this album, stuff like Sludge Factory, for example, is a great example. That's very Dirt-like.
Yeah.
And that's very heavily Lane doing Lane the best he can. It's great. But yeah, he's quite fragile in places. And sometimes Jerry's propping him up, sometimes he's not. The fragility he's just laid bare.
Yeah. I was reading about this. It's a bit like the Ultra album. They had to go and record for Depeche Mode. They had to record it in very small bits because it just took them so long to put it together.
Yeah, in chunks.
Yeah, the whole layout of it's really weird. It's really weird art choices as well.
Yeah, I love the artwork. It's very sort of vaudeville, circus themed, which lends itself to the box set itself, which I'll talk about. And the inner sleeves are all like really cool. The dog itself is just iconic. I love that. And then the guy with the 3 legs on the back, he was famous apparently. I don't know, but there you go. Yeah. But going back to the latter songs, at least now it's separated by 4 sides. You can make the effort of, okay, I'll just put the 4th side on a couple of times, I'll play the 4th side a couple of times, or the 3rd and 4th side, and get used to those before putting, side A and B back on.
It's definitely Frogs is the one that I struggle with the most. I don't know why.
See, like I say, that, and I did at the time, and it took me a while to sort of get used to them in isolation, away from the rest of the album, and now for me they really work. It's it's a journey from sort of, you know, grind is the classic sort of simple Alice in Chains riff. Jerry always writes simple riffs. As a guitarist, they were great to play, and his solos are always great because they're almost anti-solos, but he's kind of really gifted. He just thinks about guitar a bit differently than most of his contemporaries, I think, and they don't necessarily fit an arc. And to grind for me is a classic Alice in Chains song, and it is a grind. So it starts there, and when it ends up sort of with take over now out of the equation. The last but one track, Frogs, is just so it's just sparse and just weird, and that's the journey you take from the single to that. And then, like I say, it ends like over now. Feels like a curtain call. The curtains come back up. We're all bowing and bravo, thank you, sort of thing. It's great. They're very similar to what they did with, I think, with Jar of Flies. That ends on Swing on This. You know, the jazzy sort of number there. That was a bit throwaway and fun.
Yeah.
Over now feels like that. Cool. I find
it funny with Jerry, because from what I can tell, he is reasonably prolific with his writing. It just seems to be, when it comes to Alice in Chains, it just seems to take ages. Because he did this one and then went straight off and did, what was his first solo? Boggy something? I can't remember what it's called.
Boggy Depot.
Is that the one? Yeah. And then after that, he then did Degradation Trip, which I love that album. But it's like, there's the single version or there's the double one where there's just loads of songs. And then, like, in between Alice in Chains albums, where he writes 90% of everything, he seems to release about 2 or 3 solo albums. So I don't know what it is about the Alice in... Because no offence to his solo stuff, but it's not too far away from Alice in Chains. I don't know why.
It's not. Maybe it's the name. Maybe it's it feels the weight of sort of
the legacy.
The legacy. Yeah, you don't want to there's probably less pressure to just do something under his own name, because people aren't necessarily going to, you know, come and see him as opposed to, or buy his album as opposed to Alice in Chains. Or it might just be he has a difficult writing relationship with Sean, or, you know, Mike. You don't know. Well, when he's doing his own stuff, he can kind of like, I'm doing this. This is. And, you know, you get session people and you go, play that, do that. That's it, done. You might have a bit of a harder time selling it to his colleagues.
So. Yeah, maybe it's more of a democracy than I give them credit for.
You never know, do you, with bands? There's always a songwriter, but then there's always the people that kind of the unofficial sounding board or the musical sort of director kind of thing, arranger, you know. Yeah. Some people on the face of it, you can look and go, what do? You just sing. They might be putting the songs together. People might just be coming down with a bucket load of riffs and we've got all this, there you go. Somebody else is putting it all together and going, okay, I've made it workable.
Okay. Yeah, no, makes sense.
So, you don't know. I might be making the entire thing.
You could be, indeed. Could be talking absolute shit. All right, cool. Well, basically, I just got the normal version that came out with the double yellow translucent, and you got the special box set. So what is so awesome about this box set? Okay,
I will try my best to explain it without actually being able to show it, although I have put the photos, and we'll put further photos on Instagram if anybody's particularly interested.
No, I think
I was fascinated. I feel like I was the only one in the world that got this when it landed, because everybody's been moaning for months and months and months. And when I finally got mine, and I put the pictures up, and I was Googling other people, seeing what other people were saying about it, there was not one single post in the entire world of anybody showing their box or talking about it. And I thought, am I the only one that's had it? And then, like 3 or 4 days later, somebody else did it, and then somebody else. So I did have it quite early compared to most, I think. So kind of grateful for that. So I'll go through it as best as I can without the aid of photography. So
you're obviously moaning the loudest, and they heard you. Quick, just get it out to him. For the love of God.
He's big, he's ugly, just get him sorted. The album, the sleeve, as we said before, the CD originally came in like a neon. The CD case itself was either neon green or neon purple. So when this turned up, it was a great big box. And just before I go on, I have been saying to you for a long time, haven't I? Because I'm that impatient. When it turns up, I'm just going to fuck it off and just get it on eBay and or Discogs and just buy the normal version, because that pissed me off. I'm pissed off. When it came and I opened the box, those thoughts went straight out of the window. I was just like, I cannot believe the effort that's gone into this. First of all, the cardboard box itself that it came in, the packaging, is the artwork for the album. It's got the dog printed all over it. It's got the Alice in Chains logo right down the side. And it's a hefty, bloody big cardboard box. And I was like, Jesus, that's cool.
Yeah.
Opening it, thinking, right, it's going to be full of padding, and there's going to be a little box set in the middle, like, 12 by 12. Opens it up, and the box itself is pretty much the same size as the outside packaging. It's like... The box is literally about 10 LPs thick.
Yeah.
It's really, really wide. It's a neon yellow
Perspex
box. So obviously these are all custom made.
Yeah.
And then with the dog album sleeve on the inside, so it's just this you open the box, you just got this shining beacon. It was like, oh my god, honestly, awesome it was. Opening the box and seeing that, was, Jesus. It was a proper like, right, I'm going to take my time with this rather than rip everything open and see what's there. What I will say, as the fan of the music, it's slight because you're not getting outtakes, live sessions, B-sides, all this sort of stuff. You're literally just getting the album as is, the album on cassette, and the 3 7-inches that there was singles, and the B-sides of those 7 inches are all etched. So they're very, very cool things to have, but essentially you're just getting the album. So you could look at it and go, that's very expensive for just an album, but as a collector, as somebody that wanted to go the extra mile and do something special, and they've made something special, you either buy it or you don't, isn't it? It's personal taste.
But we have just said that considering what the album when it came out, they didn't tour. And
no?
they didn't. And if it was hard enough to do 12-song album, I would imagine trying to get a whole load of B-sides recorded as well was like pulling teeth. So there's a potential that it's like this because it is what it is.
That's all there was. And the demos are maybe like, literally we milked it for all we could to get the best out of what we had. There's nothing left.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad that they, for an album that's kind of neglected, and we talked about this last year with the Pixies with their reissues, with Trompe le Monde being my favourite, and the fact the reissue just went, oh, yeah, there you go, we've made it green, rather than the bells and whistles editions that they'd done with Surfer Rosa and Come on Pilgrim and Doolittle and, all these lavish things with loads of extra stuff. And Trompe le Monde was just, there you go, afterthought. It's nice that Alice in Chains have made a real effort with this box. And I know I've spoke to people that have got the boxes that they did for Facelift and Dirt and Jar of Flies, and they've all said that they were great. They were really cool. I mean, the Jar of Flies box has generally got a Jar of Flies in it. That's how cool that is. And they've all sort of said, no, this trumps a lot. This is special. They've made a real great effort with this, so...
Wonderful.
So back to this. The double vinyl thing is pretty much the same as yours. The vinyl itself is a swirly pattern thing, which is really cool. When you open it up, it's got like a pop-up sleeve, like you used to get books when you were a kid with all the animals and things popping up out of it. So it's got a lot of the characters from the album sleeve and booklet all on here that just pop up as you open the record. So that's really cool. That's a nice little touch.
And that's different to what I have.
Yeah, because yours will just, I don't know what's in the middle of yours. Is it just a photo or photos?
It's just some of the artwork.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just stuff that was in the booklet originally.
So that's cool. So you open that up. That's a nice little surprise.
Cool. And you got the 7 inches as well. Are they coloured 7 inches or are they just normal?
7 inches are coloured. Bear with. Okay, so next in the box you've just got these art cards.
Okay.
Which are just ballerinas. The circus theme. The bearded lady.
Yeah.
The all-seeing blind man, which is Jerry. It's a mock-up of Jerry. You've got the beat summoner, which is the drummer.
Oh, okay. So they're representations of who's on the album.
Yeah, basically. The riff god. Who do you think that is? The string man. And the teleporting man. All that. So they're really cool. So there's a few of those. So that's something cool. You've then got two massive posters. Yes, two massive 24 by 24 posters. One's the dog off the sleeve, and on the other side is a photo of the band. That's cool. And then the other one is the three-legged man off the back sleeve.
Oh, okay.
Looks a bit like George Formby, I always felt.
A
weird
I
George
was
Formby.
thinking, to be honest.
And then again on the back, a cool photo of the band. Lane looking a little bit healthier than just on the other one. You've then got one of these Zoetrope slip mats, which is double-sided. Nice. I've not put that on yet to see what it looks like, see what the effect is like. But that's purple and yellow one side, black and white the other.
Oh, it's a two-sided one. Wicked.
Yeah. You've got this great big fat book, which again is like a nice binder And you got
wow.
an embossed logo of the dog, and it says 30 underneath, and you got Alice in
There's
Chains
a lot
logo.
of effort in this, isn't there?
It is. It's very nice. It's very good stuff.
So what's the booklet then?
You open that up.
Wow.
You've got a comic in here called a hardback comic called "See What You Came to See," which is obviously a lyric from the album. I've not read this. I don't know what it's about. Whether the band are in the comic or not, I don't know.
Oh, cool.
So that's all cool. That's just really well done.
That's amazing.
It is. It really is. You've got the 3 singles here. Just
Yeah.
This lose its value already. So
Just so people realise, we've got a video camera here, so I can see what he's doing. So I'm watching it again.
You've got the Again 7-inch, which is purple.
Yeah.
And it's got one of those on the back, which is one of the an owl,
sweet.
I think, off the sleeve. You've got Heaven Beside You, which I think is pale blue. It is.
And it's like it's got a colour. It's like a coloured edge. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really clever.
And you got Grind, which again, pink. Looks like a dog, I think. So yeah, those are cool. I'm not going to put all these back away.
No. But that's
just whang it
wow.
back on the side.
It's one of these ones that it just seems to keep coming.
Oh, it really does, and that's the thing. I'm not going to get them out, but there's a cassette of the album in the original purple.
Yeah.
Purple translucent sleeve, and then there's a bunch of tarot cards. And each one's got this really elaborate sort of design on it, and then it's got the lyrics to the song on the back. So there's 12 of those, one for each song.
Oh, okay. I wonder what the tarot cards are for. Oh, wonderful.
So that's pretty cool. And then the last thing in the box, I'm not going to get it out, but it's in a box. It's a ballerina. And
yeah, you showed me the other day.
And there's a record weight, so you put that in the middle of the album. You put the ballerina on top, and it spins while the album's playing. And again, that's purple and yellow. So. Yeah. Oh, and then when you take the things out in the box, there's other pictures and things in there as well. So it is an absolutely astonishing thing. The effort that's gone into this is amazing. It was expensive, don't get me wrong, but I've seen more expensive, like when Metallica and people are putting out, £280, £300 box sets. This was just over 200. So, yeah, I mean, you're only getting an album and some bits and bobs, but it's a very, very nice thing.
A lot of effort's gone in. You can see possibly why there was delays in manufacture. Like, you kind of wish they could foresee these things and they'll start making it 6 months in advance so they've got it ready, but it's cool. It is cool. If you were a fan of that one album, like you yourself are, like, it's got the bells and whistles. I like it
because I didn't.
You could go nuts
I
on
wish
it.
I'd have picked up the. To be fair, as I get older, I want less. I've sold box sets in the last year because I just don't need them. I don't want them. I want an album as is, and I don't want too much just stuff everywhere. But this very much is something. When I've played the record. I'm not going to make a habit of playing the record. It's not an album I play very often, but I've got it there if I want to, or I can stream it. I don't have the guilt associated with streaming when I bought the album and spent a lot on it, sort of thing, so I'll stream it if I need to hear it. The thing in the neon case, when I put it on the side with my collection on the top, it looks fucking awesome. It's like you walk in the room and the light always catches the box, so it's like a shiny beacon as soon as you walk. It's just the coolest thing. Yeah. And you could argue, well, like you say, you're just getting the album. You could have just bought the reissued album for 25, 30 quid. Well, I made the choice to buy the expensive thing because it was a monumental thing, and why not? If the funds allow, you do these things, don't you? So I'm really glad I bought it. It's definitely not going to be sold unless I need a Lane style habit that I need to cover. But yeah, that'll just sit nicely on the side, nice shining part of my collection. So.
Well, like you said about the original presses and stuff, when we were at Rise Above and Relics, we saw it, wasn't it? Like 300
yes,
quid?
and that was a good price. That was a good price. They go for 400 or 500 quid sometimes.
No, I think you did the right thing. It is beautiful. Well done. Like, it is one of those albums. I think it got overlooked, but it's such a big part of their legacy. And as I said, I'm re-listening to it. I have enjoyed it. I think I just haven't really listened to it enough. I remember. I always remember the first side. I remember Heaven Beside You and those sort of ones. So, but it tells a story. It is dark. It's not a pretty album. So it was never going to go like, I don't know. I don't know. I want to say it was never going to go number one, but then you look at like Far Beyond Driven by Pantera. That was quite a harsh album, and that went straight to number one. So I guess it really depends where it was. But you are very correct. It very much bookended an era.
Yeah, just the whole scene kind of changed around 95, 96. It just went somewhere else, didn't it? And it was kind of the death of, you know, grunge itself was building up from like sort of late 80s to and by the time it had hit and gone boom, it died. You know, it's just you just got you're on the last embers, but those last embers were fucking awesome. But yeah, come 94, 95, 96, when these people have been at it for the last 10 years essentially, and we've only been paying attention for 3 or 4, it's over, you know.
It was oversaturated. Yeah. Everyone was buying, signing anyone who even sounded slightly grungy and had a fucking like, what's it called? If you wore a check shirt, you were done. And then you had all those terrible bands like Stiltskin. They had one song that everyone, they're grunge. We'll buy them. And you go, have you actually heard any other songs? They're shit.
Bush were another one.
Yeah.
And then from Pearl Jam, you got the likes of Creed and people like that, and it's just, okay, yeah, it's dead.
Yeah. But anyway, so there you go. Alice in Chains. We've waited long enough to finally have it out and talk about it. So that's it. You can now set your obsession on something else that you want to come out.
Well, I think the only box set I would buy now, if it was to come, and it's got to come, I hate these bands that just won't do it when we're all going to do it, is Tool's Enema album. Because that literally goes for about $2,000 on eBay, on Discogs. It's ridiculous money. So just please put that out. It's awesome. And if you're going to do a box, do it of that. I would pay good money for that.
Okay, well, Tool, if you're listening.
I'm sure they are.
You've been told. Okay, let's go to the end. Waffle.
It's the last bit of the podcast. It's the last part of the show. It's the last bit of our podcast before we have to go.
Hello and welcome back to the end of the podcast. We will have a look and let you know of all the stuff we've heard of coming out. I think there's been quite a lot, so we're going to pare some of this down and use it another day.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, Dan only last week was talking about Deep Purple, and at the same time as him going, I got this and it's cracking, they also announced that there's a brand new album coming out, Splat.
Yeah, they're weird with their album titles this last sort of 10 years. And the sleeves, but the Splat sleeve is actually alright. But the ones, the last 3 or 4 have been fucking dog shit.
But yeah, they seem to be on a roll. Every 2 or 3 years now they're putting out a new one. I don't think the last one was that long ago. I did actually listen to the first single. Can't remember for the life of me what it's called, but I didn't mind it. It was alright.
Is it something man or something kid or something like that?
I could look it up. I can't be far.
No, I know. It's doing too many things at once, isn't it? At this age, I might press a button wrong and we lose the entire podcast, so I'm not messing.
But yeah, no. The Splat one, it's got it's a Deep Purple. Got loads of big keyboard solo in the middle of it, and it sounded good. I don't know. I don't know if I'd buy it. I don't think I'd say it's blown my world apart, but it's solid enough for some band that's been going since the 60s.
Oh God, yeah. It's nice that they're still around. They've changed members over the years, but I think this one's, apart from the guitarist, I think this lineup's been pretty solid. I think the guitarist has only come on board because Steve Morse had to leave because his wife was terminally ill or something, I believe.
Yeah.
But Ian Gillan's been back with them for years. You've still got Roger Glover, John Lord, I believe he's still there. Ian Gillan, the singer. They've just got Simon McBride on board, so.
Is it Ian Pace? Is he the drummer?
Ian Pace, that's what I'm trying to think of. You can't moan with them. It's not like they're embarrassing. They're still making good, solid, rock albums. So fair play to them.
No, so that was pretty cool. Especially as we've been sort of talking. I've been listening to a bit of Deep Purple as well. So no, it's nice. He said they seem to be cracking on. They're not doing terrible albums. They're not pissing on their legacy, so good on them. Carry on, man.
Absolutely. I
think you saw something about, is it Neil Young, Pearl Jam? What's that one?
Neil Young and Pearl Jam. We was going to have a discussion about this beforehand, but I'll do it now live on the air in front of all our wonderful fans. Did you ever hear that Mirrorball album?
No.
Okay. So they did.
I knew about it. Yeah. I just never listened to it.
Well, this is the thing. I remember it being a thing at the time, and like we were just talking about that sort of 95, 96 era where grunge was kind of on its ass. and we all kind of moved on a little bit to a certain extent. I know around that time I started listening to like Big Beat and stuff like that, and I was deep in the throes of a Dylan addiction. So this sort of stuff kind of, even though I was initially loved Pearl Jam, I kind of went away from them for a long time. I didn't hear the Mirrorball album, and over the years it's kind of been talked about in hushed tones. I know Pearl Jam did 2 tracks that they wrote, which Eddie sings, that didn't make the album. They released as their own EP called Merkin Ball. But both those songs are fantastic. Really like those. Never got around to listen to Mirrorball, and about 5 years ago I thought, do you know what, I'm going to buy that. Went to look for the vinyl, and just as per usual, ridiculously stupid, silly money. So I saw, going back to the original point, this is getting reissued, double vinyl, heavyweight 180, usual stuff, and a couple of other Neil Young albums from around the time, I think. And I'm thinking, I don't know whether to buy this. I don't know whether I'm going to like it, or whether it's very heavily more Pearl Jam or Neil, and you're not going to really know, who's got the upper hand sort of thing. So I thought, I'll ask Simon, see if he's heard it, and then I'll make the decision. But you've not heard it.
No, I think because I think we've said before, I'm a bit picky with Neil Young, so I've only really...
I'm a bit picky with Neil Young. I'm very picky with Neil Young. I'm a little bit picky with Pearl Jam to a certain extent, so I was like... But it's coming at the end of their really great era, so I'm thinking, is it going to be worth picking up?
I never heard bad things about it.
No.
It's just, I think the Neil Young side of things are kind of stopped me.
So he's got so much stuff.
I was a huge Pearl Jam fan around this point.
Yeah. Oh, same here. And it wasn't until it sort of slowed down and they came back with binaural, sort of 2000-ish, was it? And then I'll pick back up again about 2002, 2003. But I had a good 4 or 5 years where I weren't particularly interested. But with Neil Young, you could blink and miss about 10 albums. And most Neil Young fans would go, yeah, it's all right. But when they do a ranking, they're going to be like right down the bottom. And I actually looked up a ranking online yesterday. I thought, I'll see what what Neil Young fans think of Mirrorball. Most of them, they're kind of, no, it's good, but he's done like dozens and dozens and dozens of albums, and you just like, I've got no context for what's good, because I've got like 2 or 3 that I like, so I don't know. So that didn't particularly help me, so I'm either just going to stream it, or I'm just going to take a leap and just order it just for the fuck of it, because that era of 90s grunge, as we talked about earlier with Alice in Chains, I'm still kind of interested in, but I'm picking up way after the fact, so I might just go for it,
That's up to you. Personally, I'd stream it, but that's just me, because I can't afford to buy something that shit. That's up to you. Like, I think you're more of a fan of Neil than I am, even though you're not that massive a fan. But as I said, I've not heard anything bad.
Yeah. It just seems, nobody seems to be, this is amazing, but nobody seems to say, this is shit. They all seem to be, in the context of the time, this is great pairing. But because it's not really been talked about since, and it's 30 odd years later, you're kind of like, was it, or was it a bit of an anomaly? So leave it with me. I'll keep you all posted. I'm sure you'll be waiting on with bated breath. Yeah.
One thing that I only literally found out the other day, I don't know if people are a fan of them, but the Coral, Sheffield band, I think. Sheffield? Somewhere like that.
Liverpool, Scousers.
Liverpool. Sorry, that's the one.
And the Wirral.
Oh, God. Jesus.
Fucking hell.
So...
Basically, there.
Please forgive me. They have surprised released a new album on Thursday called 388, which they recorded live to like an 8-track Tascam somewhere. Very old school sort of sound for them, bit dubby, bit sort of... Yeah, it's got some sort of dub and reggae sort of feel to it as well. But the thing about the surprise release is it wasn't a digital surprise release. It is now on streaming services, but from what I can tell, they sent out to independent record stores exclusively to start with the album, and basically just said, just put it on your shelves on Thursday, and we'll do an announcement at one point. So literally, my local and some other ones just went, there is a new Coral album. Here it is. It's on our shelves.
That's really cool.
It was a physical surprise release.
Did you buy it?
Like now, I haven't yet. Only because, to be honest, Friday I was a bit busy, so I probably will go and get it because I've been listening to it the last couple of days, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's kind of a bit more like the last couple of albums. They've got some quirky ones. The last couple of ones have been a little bit more downbeat and more just sort of acoustic ballady type things. And then this one, is kind of got a little bit more of the quirkiness of their earlier ones. Not quite as Beefheart inspired craziness like their first one. This one's just Yeah, it's just got a real cool laid-back vibe to it. So a little bit dubby, a little bit reggae, a little bit reggae. Yeah, but no, honestly, I thought it sounded good. I've bought all their other albums, so I'm not going to get it. But yeah, no announcement at all. Just I think they put a video up on Friday and went, "Here's our new song. It's now on streaming, but it has been in record stores for the last few days." And
that's really cool. It's a marked contrast from people announcing albums 6 months before they come out, isn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's not also nice having one which isn't on streaming and go, oh, in about 4 months' time we'll finally get the vinyl out, pressed up, sent to record stores. Don't say anything, just put it on your shelves, and we'll go from there. So that was really cool. I really like that one. So I think it's only like 24 quid. It's quite a cheap album as well. So no, that was brilliant. So 388, that one's called. And then the last thing this week that we'll talk about, because I think we're going to save stuff, was the Anthrax album was finally announced for September the 25th.
Are you going to try and pronounce it?
No, fuck that. You can do that one. Do you know what it's called?
Off the top of my head, no, it's gone. It's some kind of Spanish expression or something.
Oh, I'll try and say it.
Go on.
Cursum perfecto.
Okay.
Perfectio.
That's not bad.
Perfectio.
Let's go with what you first said. Cursum perfecto. Which I would assume is like perfect curse. I don't know.
But the first single came out. Is it For the Kids or something stupid?
Yep.
It's not a good.
No.
It's. I've spoken to a few people who are big Anthrax fans, and they've kind of gone, it's not the greatest song. It's not the greatest lyric. It's riffy enough. It's got some cool drums and fucking double kick and stuff, but it's just not a great song. For 10 years being away and hoo-ha around the album, it's just sort of come out with a bit of a whimper. Like their other albums, I think they always have good lead-off tracks that make you go, oh, this is cracking. Like when Worship Music came out, I really loved Devil I Know and Devil You Know, and Fight Till You Die. Like I thought they were quite good lead-off tracks. This one's just a bit of a whimper. It's just lacking something. It's just not.
Yeah, like you say, it sounds okay. It's got that sort of generic sort of metal production sound we've moaned about before. But yeah, some good riffing in that, and it don't make a great song, does it? And my issue is, while it's not horrible, it's not, oh my god, this is shit. It's okay, but like you say, for the absence, a 10-year absence, you want to come back with a bang, and people are, oh yeah, fucking Anthrax are back. And the other concern, if that's the best they can do at this, but you're going to put your strongest, best song out. You know,
you'd like to think, but then some people don't.
Which is weird. It is weird, but presumably there'll be a second. To be fair, the album's not coming till September. Is it September?
Yeah, we'll probably have 2 more before.
You're probably going to have at least 2 more before. And if of those 2 tracks there isn't an absolute banger in there, I think you're looking at a bit of a dud.
Yeah, the video's a bit nondescript. It's just them playing in a room with people trying to get in. Is it zombie people? Or, people trying to get into the. I don't know. I don't like the fact that bands more and more like it used to always be about the lead single. The first song of the album you put out there was always the absolute pinnacle of everything. Like we kind of said it with Corrosion of Conformity. They released one which was okay in the context of the album. It fucking works and it's brilliant. But for a first song, I was a little bit okay. Like you want it to just blow your socks off and go, this is it. Like going back to the Social Distortion one, their first song was their lead one. It was all intent. It was everything you wanted, and it just made me excited for it. This one has kind of gone, I'm going to wait and see. Like, there's loads of different variations. I'm sure I'll buy it. I've bought every other one. I was just... hasn't massively excited me so far.
What do you make of the artwork?
I'm torn, because I don't really... I was... When I first saw it, I thought, oh, maybe this is just the artwork for the single, and something better's coming for the album, but it is the album one. I'm not the biggest fan. I know what your thoughts are.
I quite like it. It's all right. It's all right. It's different. It's there's a story there, but we haven't seen it big enough, or there won't be more detail on it until the album's physically out. But I would like to see the album with the Anthrax logo on, because as a piece of art, it's just like that's a bit weird. I
think that's what I'm missing.
Yeah, I think it'd look cool with like an Anthrax sticker over it, rather than the Anthrax logo, just an Anthrax sticker over it on the outer sleeve or something.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily the album title. I love it when bands release albums with the name on, but not the album title. I love that. So if they just put a sticker, if they put their logo sort of sticker on that'd be cool. If they don't, it's a bit, it's definitely missing something. You know, with bands like, with thrash bands and metal bands especially, the logo is very important. You know, look at bands like Opeth or Metallica, Slayer, things like that. The logos are very distinct. Even bands like Death, you put the Death logo on it makes the image. Iron Maiden, you know, if you put an Iron Maiden name, their logo on, it'd be like, it's a cool picture, but the logo makes it. So to just if they were going to do that and not put the logo on, I think they're going to be kind of missing a trick, especially if the music's not going to be great either. It'd be like, really? Did anybody put any thought into this?
Yeah, and then I always find it when these tracks come out, because I was looking on YouTube or something, and there's all the comments, and everyone, this is the greatest thing ever. And I don't know if it's just me. And I always go, my brain is always just like, are you listening to the same one? But, they're so bad. This is the greatest song they've ever done. And I just think, do people just comment just for that? But then I think I said my favourite comment on the whole thing was someone goes, my dad's listened to it and said it was shit. They peaked with Persistence of Time. So I just like, I love the fact that someone's played it to his dad.
Dad, you heard this? Yeah. What do you think? Fucking shit, son. Reminds me about whenever my dad used to phone me when he lived in Spain at the time, and he'd always phone me on a Sunday after Walsall had played on the Saturday, the football team, and he'd always start the conversation with, all right, yeah. See that share of shit yesterday? And it didn't matter whether they'd lost 10-0 or won 4-0. It was always like, shit. You've been supporting these people for 40 years and they're always shit.
No. So no, it just made me laugh. Like all these, it just stood out because it was just comment after comment. Oh, they're on fire. My dad says they're shit, and they peaked back in 1991, and then it carries on going. And I was like, I like that one. That's my favourite. I'll give them. I love the band, so I'll still give them a chance.
Of course,
I will buy it,
of course,
and wait and see what happens.
Well, what I will say as well about the video, now Anthrax are like, they're one of the big four. They're a big, important band, but their video and generally what they do and what they put out these days is feel very much like the actions of a second-rate thrash band. You know, the greats spend a lot of money doing this, that, and the other, and they're the big four. Anthrax's video feels very much like what somebody would spend on a Trivium video or somebody like that. The next tier, the low, there's your budget for the video. There you go. And you think it feels a bit cheap when Anthrax are coming back after 10 years. It's a long time. It should be a bit more bells and whistles. There should be a bit more of a momentum, a bit more class about it. Do you know what I mean? And it just feels very cheap.
They obviously haven't got the budget.
They are? Yeah, but I'm sure. I don't know whether it's a decision they've made or whatever. I don't know. It feels like something. If I wanted to make a music video, I could probably afford that. You know what I mean? It don't feel like a classic thrash band coming back. It feels very much. Yeah. They've spent. All right, we've been away for 10 years, but there's been no momentum building in the meantime. We've literally knocked this up in a weekend with a tenner. It's like, okay, thanks. There's no sort of, if Iron Maiden come back, it's always with a big campaign and sort of stuff like that. Again, different league, but they are one of the big four, and this is one of my arguments as well, as they continue to prove why they probably shouldn't be one of the big four, because they're kind of second tier part of the big four, Yeah,
anyway. well, I'm guessing if they do another song, there'll be another video. Hopefully, it's a better one.
You've probably got a couple of quid left in their pocket from that one. Well, that only cost us £8. You give us £2 back. We'll make another video next week. Joey's Kitchen.
Do one with finger puppets on the top.
We'll see.
All right. Well, I think that's us. That's it for us. It for us. I think we're both need to go and I'm going to jump into a pool of water or something. I'm going to
pop to the shop and just get in the fridge for a couple of hours, see if anybody notices, I think.
Cool. All right. Well, hope everyone out there is having a lovely long weekend, and we will see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You heard it online, and you think there's no rival. You want it for your collection, but have you heard it on vinyl?